Drake liked one of the videos I had uploaded and he followed me.
Bobbi therefore tried to get him on.
I'm gonna like shoot my shot to Drake. So I was like, when are you gonna come on my podcast?
And he
said,
game
yeah.
right away.
So Bobbi Althoff had been flying under the radar for a minute, but let's rewind to how she first popped off. She started with these deadpan mommy blogger parody videos on TikTok that totally flipped the script. Her humor was weird, awkward, dry, but it worked. Before you knew it, she had millions of followers and was raking in major plays per post. Not just views, we're talking real cash too. She was easily pulling in 6 figures a year just off those TikToks.
Yes, I did name my daughter Richard. I just always really loved the name Richard, and I wanted a boy, but I had a girl, and I decided to name her Richard anyway.
There is nothing more embarrassing than walking around with one of these. Everyone knows how it got there. You know what you did.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Bobbi claims she flipped that TikTok success into a full-blown podcast career, but the internet wasn't buying the glow-up story. From the jump, people were yelling, "industry plant." And honestly, it's not hard to see why. Her very first guest was literally Drake, aka Mr. Certified Lover Boy himself. Like, come on. Who just casually bags Drake for their podcast launch?
I flew all the way here
You did. I really do appreciate
on my daughter's
that.
first birthday.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
You missed your daughter's first birthday for
To be here.
Dark. Regret that you'll never be able to undo.
Yeah.
Horrible parenting.
Then boom, not long after, she's chilling with Mark Cuban. And social media couldn't stop clowning his busted feet in that one video. Folks were like, bro, you're a billionaire. Where's your private pedicure crew at? But beyond the memes, things didn't add up. Within just 1 week of launching her pod, Bobbi was repped by one of the biggest talent agencies in the entire game. And suddenly, she's lining up big-name celebs left and right. People online, and even in interviews, were calling it out as fake, fast-track fame. Like, where was the grind? Bobbi later confessed that all the hate actually hit her hard. She said the accusations messed with her mentally. Bobbi Althoff's rise and fall, man, it mirrored that Hong Kong girl almost exactly. Both of them blew up crazy fast and then crashed just as hard. But at least with HK, the downfall made sense. She got exposed for scamming her fans with zero remorse. That kind of scandal will end you quick. Bobbi, though, her fall was different. She didn't pull some fraud. People just got tired. That sarcastic, too cool to care routine started wearing thin. The awkward deadpan act had a shelf life. And when she tried it on someone like Offset, he didn't play along. He exposed her.
You need to be on my podcast.
Why you keep saying that cat shit, man? I honestly didn't even want to do this shit. I don't fucking do interviews. I'm fucking with you because they're making me. You need a little bit of seasoning. You ain't got no seasoning, man. You like a plain piece of chicken just on the thing. You pull it off and then you serve the dish. You need some motherfucking seasoning, man.
You can leave now.
This is my hotel. I paid for this motherfucker. You can leave now.
Made her look straight up goofy while she still tried to push that fake, unbothered vibe. But here's where it really turned messy. Beyond the industry plant stuff, folks started dragging her for allegedly blowing up her entire family life just to hang with celebs. That hit different. And get this, Drake of all people called her out for being a bad mom. Like, when Drake questions your parenting, that's wild. And now this same man is out here thirsting in her IG comments, asking her to unblock him. The tables turn fast, and it's honestly embarrassing. Not for her, but for him. Even worse, Bobbi was still married during those early interviews, yet she'd constantly hit on her male guests, throwing out stuff like, "Would you smash me?" Just picture being her husband, watching your wife flirted up on camera with every celeb she interviews. Yeah, that divorce, it wasn't some random move. He officially filed just a month after that viral Drake episode dropped.
Just like hard to imagine finding someone who is truly good for you. It's hard to imagine there's a world where there's like someone who's actually meant for you. Dating is just hard, you guys.
And you already know what folks started whispering. That maybe Drake didn't just show up for an interview. Maybe he gave her that unofficial initiation into the game, if you catch the drift. That's when her whole image started spiraling. People started saying Bobbi was just getting passed around the industry. Ryan Garcia, man, was acting like a schoolboy with a crush, literally chasing her around rooms. And then during one of his infamous Twitter meltdowns, he even confirmed they hooked up. Then came the wild nights out. Bobbi getting carried out of clubs, clearly lit, and trying to pull that soft launch the mystery man move. But that backfired bad. Internet sleuths moved quick and figured out it was some NFL player. And guess what? He straight up denied even being with her. Said he didn't know her like that. After all that mess, Bobbi had a full breakdown on TikTok. She was crashing out in real time. Now she's officially pulled the plug on her podcast. Honestly, that caught people off guard, since she was still pulling a couple 100,000 views here and there. But compared to her peak, when she was doing million-view episodes with big names, it was a clear drop-off. Her last few guests barely made a splash. And those solo episodes, they were ghost town level, barely any traction. So get this, Bobbi didn't just end her podcast, she threw an actual funeral for it. Like full-on mourning the show, candles and all, real dramatic. And yet, people are still scratching their heads like, why did this podcast fall off? But come on now, it's not that deep of a mystery. Even when her numbers were dipping, someone was still pumping cash into her brand. It was obvious. You'd see these random puff pieces popping up in places like Business Insider, which, let's be real, has a reputation for publishing favorable content when there's a check behind it. It's like someone was really trying to keep her hot, even when the internet had already moved on. And honestly, Bobbi never pretended otherwise. She's openly admitted that since she was young, all she wanted was fame and fortune. That's it. There was no deep message, no greater cause, just a straight shot to Clout City. But that's what makes her whole saga so wild, because Bobbi isn't just a person. She's like a symbol of what social media has turned into, a mirror to the madness. Especially over these last couple of years, it's been impossible to ignore how much people, especially women on Instagram, have started acting like full-on celebrities without actually being famous. Like, girl, you got 500 followers and still moving like you're at the Met Gala. The vibe is all ego, no substance, and it's low-key hilarious. It's like the influencer effect trickled down so hard that now everybody's playing pretend. Clout-chasing used to be cringe, now it's the norm. I mean, hey, gotta give it to Bobbi for at least owning up to the fall-off and the fact that she's all about the money. She didn't even try to hide it. That final episode, straight up ad city. She jammed like 10 sponsorships into it back to back. It wasn't even a real episode, more like a cash grab disguised as a farewell. She just kept going. Remember when I did this podcast? Remember when I interviewed that person? Like it was one of those throwaway clip shows you skip on Netflix. She'd play a little snippet from an old interview, toss another ad in your face, rinse and repeat. Honestly, it felt like filler. Like she had zero interest in giving her fans closure or ending strong. It was just a lazy parade of old content and brand deals. But here's where it gets suspicious. Something about the way she wrapped it up screams soft launch. Like this wasn't the end. It was the setup for whatever new project she's plotting. Bobbi doesn't strike me as someone who just dips out of the spotlight quietly. Not a chance. She loves being around A-listers, going viral, and climbing that social ladder. That hunger doesn't disappear overnight. And let's not ignore the timing. She dropped that final episode on the last day of July, right when those ad contracts probably had hard deadlines. And let's be real, even if you were a legit fan of the podcast, sitting through that final episode was a struggle. Between the constant ads and recycled clips, who's watching the whole thing? Nobody. And the comment section? Who? It was not the warm farewell she might have hoped for. People weren't dropping heartfelt goodbyes or thank you messages. It was more like, good riddance, mixed with straight-up complaints. Folks were fed up, mainly with the non-stop ads, but also with how she dipped on her family just to chase fame. That narrative stuck hard. So yeah, this really does feel like the curtain call for Bobbi's moment in the spotlight. The so-called Bobbi era, it's a wrap. And honestly, if she had just stuck with that parody blogger lane, kept doing those awkward offbeat mom TikToks, she might have had a longer run and made more money in the long game. That lane was hers. But instead, she took the fast track, flew too close to the celeb sun, and got burned. Now here's the part that really seals the deal. Bobbi didn't just fumble the bag, she torched the whole opportunity. Even with her massive platform, she never really built trust with her audience. There was always this weird disconnect. Like she was too busy playing a character to actually let people in. The sarcasm was constant, the energy was flat, and after a while, it just got old. People didn't feel like they were watching someone real. They felt like they were watching someone trying to be cool, detached, and mysterious. But it came off as forced. And when things started to fall apart, she didn't pivot. She doubled down, kept doing the same awkward routine like it hadn't expired months ago. Even her apologies and breakdowns online felt like they were still part of the performance. That's the problem. You can only wear a mask for so long before people stop caring. Because at the end of the day, people don't want perfection. They want connection. They want vulnerability, even if it's messy. Bobbi never gave them that, and maybe she never could. She wanted the fame, she got it, but didn't know what to do with it once it was hers. All the money, the A-list guests, the top-tier access, it didn't mean anything when the audience no longer cared. That's the part she couldn't fake. And that's the real kicker. Bobbi had all the right pieces. The platform, the momentum, the spotlight, but instead of leveling up, she just coasted. And it showed. She never really bonded with her audience. Like, yeah, the sarcasm might have worked for a few clips, but after a while, it felt like she was hiding behind it. People wanted to root for her, but she kept playing this too cool to care persona that made it impossible to connect. It was like watching someone pretend to be above it all, while clearly craving every ounce of attention. And when things started slipping, she didn't evolve, she froze. Same tone, same stale routine. It was like watching reruns of a show that used to be fresh, but lost its spark. Even her public breakdowns and real moments online felt overly curated, like she was still in character, even when she was supposedly being vulnerable. That's where it all fell apart. People don't need polish, they need real. Especially now, fans are sharper than ever. They can smell fake from a mile away. And Bobbi's whole brand started smelling like reheated leftovers. And let's be honest, she got what most people dream of. Fame, money, high-level connections. She made it into rooms that some folks spend their whole lives trying to get a foot in. But once she was there, it's like she didn't even know why she wanted it in the first place. No direction, no vision, just vibes. And not the good kind. So now the real question is, what's next for Bobbi Althoff? Because let's keep it a buck, her name still rings bells, even if the buzz is fading. She's got a recognizable face, a history of viral moments, and a Rolodex full of industry connections. But the problem is, nobody's checking for her content. The brand she built, it doesn't hit anymore. She can't go back to TikTok like nothing happened. That quirky mom parody lane is too small now, and people would see it as a downgrade. At the same time, she can't keep chasing A-list interviews either. Not when the public already clocked the formula and stopped buying into it. So what does she do? Reinvent? Disappear for a while? Try a rebrand? Thing is, social media doesn't forgive easy. Once folks decide you're inauthentic or played out, that label sticks, especially for women. The internet loves a rise, but it lives for a fall. And Bobbi's got that she had it all and fumbled stamp all over her storyline. It's also worth noting that she never really had a message. No cause, no community, no core that people felt invested in. Her brand was built on vibes, awkward silences, and famous faces. So now that those famous faces aren't sitting across from her, what's left? She could make a comeback. We've seen wilder rebrands, but it's gonna take more than sarcasm and clever editing. She's gonna need to get real, ditch the gimmicks, and actually show who she is. But hey, what do you think really went down here? Was Bobbi finally cut loose by the people behind the scenes? Did the powers that be decide, yeah, we're not pushing this one anymore? Maybe they saw those Business Insider numbers flop, the same article that claimed America couldn't get enough, and realized the hype just wasn't matching the reality. Triple toilet paper, roll-level engagement. You know the vibes. Honestly, I'm not surprised. The podcast wave isn't what it used to be. Back when everyone and their cousin thought they were the next big host, it felt like a gold rush. But now, that space is looking real crowded and tired. Saturated to the point where even celebs can't guarantee a hit anymore. And for someone like Bobbi, where the appeal was already shaky, that oversaturation hit even harder. Also, if you made it this far, sound off in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this.